We're back, Alphas.
We're coming in hot with inspiring guests, witty banter, and colorful commentary for today's veterans and military community. This is the Tango Alpha Lima podcast.
Hi there, Alphas. During the holiday season, the Tango Alpha Lima podcast team is taking a break. Woo! Need a break. But while we're gone, we do have a little bonus content for you.
So we've looked back at all the things we've done during season 6, and we've come up with a list of our top 6 most impactful guests from 2025. And that was not easy. It really was difficult.
There were so many great guests. But we'll be re-releasing those interviews this week. So if you haven't already, subscribed to Tango Alpha Lima on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts. Don't miss our countdown. We've got you covered. All the way back in January, we talked to the talented, Grammy-nominated American folk singer, songwriter, author, and my dear friend, Mary Gauthier. We talked to her about her music career, her addiction, her recovery, mental health journey, and how she uses songwriting to help veterans with PTSD. We had such a great conversation with Mary about the healing power of music. And, I had my own experiences with an organization she volunteers for, Songwriting with Soldiers, and Mary is an absolute treasure. What did you guys have as a takeaway when we talked to Mary?
For me personally, I hate having this reinforced, but it seems like some of the best music comes from pain. And as much as I hate that people have to go through things, it's so beautiful to see someone take those things and make something incredible and creative out of it. I feel like in a lot of ways, a lot of what we do comes from a place of making purpose out of the things that we've gone through. It sounds dramatic, purpose through pain, but in a lot of ways, when you hurt, you're like, I just want to make people better. I want to make people happy. Stacy, what you do, I think, is incredible. And I think it's very similar of being able to take that creative element. And, Adam, you work tirelessly. So I know that we're talking about, Miss Mary Gauthier here, but like, that's what brought this up to me, is it was a reminder that you can take all the bad things that we go through and make something really incredible out of it.
I think for me, it's always such a joy when you can get to be with somebody who's just generationally at the top of their craft. And when you're able to meet with somebody like that, who's also so raw and authentic and vulnerable, and then you layer that on with her friends and the people that she shared stages with, which are the top music names in the industry, and then of herself, like her own story career. It, like, the whole thing together was just it was a symphony of an episode, and it was very powerful and meaningful.
Hey, was that a meaningful play on words, Adam? Did you say symphony?
That's right. No, I made a pun.
I love it. I am really thankful that we're going to be listening to this episode one more time. So Alpha, stick around after the break, and we'll go all the way back to episode 247 for our interview with the Mary Gauthier.
American values and patriotism. The American Legion advocates for upholding and defending the United States Constitution, equal justice and opportunity for everyone, and discrimination against no one. Youth education, responsible citizenship, and honoring military service by observing and participating in patriotic and memorial events. We are veterans strengthening America. We are the American Legion.
Hey Alphas, today we are joined by the amazing folk singer-songwriter, Mary Gauthier, and we're going to spell that out for you in case you want to look her up, because you're not going to be able to find her by looking up the word Gauthier. So it's Gauthier. Mary, thank you so much, and welcome to the Tango Alpha Lima podcast.
So nice to be with y'all today.
Thank you.
Yeah, all those French Creole people out there, like, we knew exactly how that was spelled. Right? You didn't need to spell it out for us. Hey, Mary.
Hey,
So good.
Good to see you.
So good to have you on the show. And I'm happy that all the alphas are going to be able to meet you and know you and love you as much as I do, because you're just an incredible person. I want to dive right in because, I've had years to get to know you since we met with our volunteers and through Songwriting with Soldiers. And I know in our early conversations, one of the things that really intrigued me about your story was that you actually got your start as a chef.
Yeah.
Is that right? Yeah. So you were creative on more than just music levels. Can you talk to me a little bit about why food and what brought you to music?
Yeah, well, it's a twisty, windy road, isn't it? The journey is not linear for anyone, I don't think, and mine has certainly been anything but. I was in the restaurant business as a kid because it was the one thing I could do where they wouldn't make me wear a dress. And I'm just a woman that's opposed to dresses on myself. I just didn't like them as a kid. I didn't like them as a teenager, and I just wasn't going to wear a dress. And if I worked in the kitchen, I could wear what I wanted to wear. So that's how I got into the restaurant business. It was really a matter of clothing. Also, I was very good at going fast, which during the rush you got to roll, and I'm good at that. Multitasking is also something I seem to excel at. So I ended up there, and then I realized to really get good at it, I should go to school and learn how to cook, and really learn how to cook. So I went to chef school and ended up finding investors and opening a couple of restaurants. As an incredibly young person, before I was 27, I was part owner of 3 different restaurants in the Boston area. I got arrested for drunk driving opening night of restaurant number 3, which was July 1990. And that was a come to Jesus for me. And I realized I got a problem and I got to deal with it. It was humiliating and a powerful experience for me to spend a night in a drunk tank. And that was the last time I consumed drugs or alcohol. I'm 34 years sober now. I was going so fast in my life and doing so many things, and to burn off steam, I would just go to the bar and drink, and that had to stop. And it was probably the worst day of my life and the best day of my life because it changed everything. It was the fork in the road for me. And about 2 years after that, I was sober from that point on. I was brought to an open mic by a waitress that worked for me at one of my restaurants. And an open mic, for listeners who aren't familiar with that, is a place where a songwriter or a musician or a poet can, pay a few bucks and be given the opportunity to get in front of an audience. Now, you have to wait a while. There's usually 30 or 40 people who sign up, and they call names or draw numbers, and when your name is called, you get on stage and do your thing. And I saw my waitress perform an original song. My restaurant at the time was in Boston, next to Berklee College of Music, so I worked around a lot of musicians and music teachers. And being at the open mic just blew my mind. I saw her on stage sing a song, and it was like a light bulb screwed in. I want to do that. I want to do that. And I hadn't written any songs. I always had a guitar, and I played, the songs that I liked, cover songs, but I never played professionally or in bars. I just kind of played with friends and stuff. But when I saw her sing and play, I wanted to do that. And that was another fork in the road for me. I just started writing, trying to get a song so I could get on that stage and play it. And it became all-consuming for me. I obviously have an addictive personality, and this took off for me. I wanted to become better at songwriting and learn how to communicate that way. And about 10 years after that, I moved to Nashville and became a professional songwriter, left the restaurant behind. So I think music and song have this in common with food. They both are ways of expressing love.
They're two lifestyles for somebody who, with alcohol, you're in a very close proximity with 2 lifestyles that bring you in close proximity with that. How do you walk that line, Mary? How do you deal with that?
Well, the beauty of recovery is you don't have to deal with it. You just surrender. You
Oh,
know,
that's
deep
fair.
recovery is, I can't handle it. I have proven time and time again that I cannot handle it. And I have a white flag and I just wave it. And that, in a very powerful and real life way, removes the compulsion. So I can be around alcohol. I don't spend time around drugs, but I can be around alcohol, and I don't want it. But I do the work to stay in that place of surrender. As soon as I think I can handle it, I'm in trouble. I just know I can't. People don't get arrested for drunk driving because they're handling alcohol very well. And so it's not like I go to the bar and hang out, but if I play at a club or there's alcohol at a party or you know, wherever drinks are served, if I have a good reason to be there, I'm not at all worried about getting drunk because I have a protection around me, which is my recovery.
Thanks for
I
that.
really love the parallels that you drew, Mary, about food and music are both expressions of love, and
Yeah, right?
there's these creative expressions of love, and so for your music, your songs are known for finding beauty in sorrow and
Yeah,
healing in loss.
yeah.
What advice would you give to someone who feels stuck in their pain and doesn't know how to start expressing it creatively and not yet maybe knowing that it's an expression of love that they're actually looking for?
Yeah, you know, one of the profound things that I learned leaving the restaurant and becoming a songwriter is that there is a universal thread that connects us all as people, and it transcends all the things that we think divide us: race, age, nationality, gender, sexuality. There's just a humanity that we share, and that human experience, that humanity, is deeply attached to vulnerability, really, emotional vulnerability. And I think that the expression through story of our humanity is a service, and that service is needed by those who aren't able to express such things, and they can see themselves in that expression and know they're not alone. So, you know, when I'm working through Songwriting with Soldiers, with veterans, trying to help come up with a story, a song that they're comfortable contributing to, what I try to emphasize is that this could be of service and useful to other people. That this could be a lifeline, actually, and often is. Throwing a lifeline is not what we think it is. It is almost counterintuitive. The same way that surrender can help an addict win. You know, expression of vulnerability and emotional fragility in some way is a lifeline to those who are experiencing it and unable to show it because they feel shame around it.
Well, and I really love the aspect that you call out about service as well, because it's this thing about being able to put our focus and awareness on something other than ourselves. And I think even for me personally in my own journey, you know, and I realized, not to say that I was like, you know, self-centered or just like focus on myself, but you get caught up with, you know, the program of the world over time. And when I look back and I say the times that I was maybe most, you know, broken or out of alignment was when I was fighting just for myself. But when I turned it around and made it about service towards others, towards the community, towards maybe the veteran community that's, you know, hurting in a lot of respects with the ability to heal and address, you know, some of these things, then I noticed that my cup began to overflow, and I got more than I needed because the act of service was so powerful in the healing process. And I love that you highlight that. So thank you.
Thanks, Adam. It's interesting, isn't it? The mathematics of love. It's again counterintuitive, but the more you give, the more you have. And oftentimes, for me, just singing my deep concerns and my deepest self, past navel gazing, past reading my diary, but the deepest stuff that I protect as sacred, putting that into verse and song is indeed an act of service, because somebody out there is going to go, wow, me too. I didn't know anybody else felt that way. You know, one of the
Joe, I
things
know
that
you've
we...
got a...
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. I was just
No,
going to say,
I
one
was
of the
going to
things
say,
that we carry is this sense that we're the only one who's ever felt this way. And that's just not possible. That however we're feeling, there's probably millions of other people who have felt that way.
you know, it's funny. You know, you're saying this, and it's exactly where my mind is at. I think a lot of times people don't realize that there's a skill in recognizing love, because when, for instance, when you're writing and when you're doing the things, it takes a bit of an aged mind to finally grow up enough and mature enough to realize what love looks like, and it does not look like the same thing. Words are not what love is, and I don't mean lyrically. I mean, when somebody says I love you, that's not what love feels like. What love feels like is when somebody gives of themselves, when they share something of themselves that they don't have to share, with no ask of return, because they just want you to be a part of it. And I've always wrote poetry. I've always written. I love to write. And I did not realize the skill difference between writing poetry versus music. I'm in a band as well. And one of the things that I learned is that I did not know how to write music, but I did know how to tell a story. And I did have a friend that knew how to write music and how to write lyrics and to make the words make sense and flow in a way that they needed to. And I think in a lot of ways, for some people, it's easy to reach out and who people who know love, to be able to put that in their lyrics, so that people who hear those things can share in what you're feeling in a way that some people aren't able. I mean, you've got writers out there like Chris Christopherson and people like that who write words that make people really stop what they're doing and think. I've always been fascinated by that. And so as somebody who's turned personal pain and life experiences into art, that really resonates with me, you. But how do you approach writing songs that resonate not just to the specific group of people that may have shared some aspects of your life and your pain, but as I got through on the other side of my injury, I was a corpsman with 2 Marines. I lost my left leg. But on the back side of all that, I realized that the things that I'd been through, the trauma that I'd been through, ends up exactly the same as what someone who's been through something else went through. We live in the same neighborhood. We just drove different cars to get there. And some of us drove real fast. And some of us drove real slow over their whole lives dealing with things. But we all end up in a neighborhood where we kind of know each other, and we kind of see each other and wave and can look in each other's eyes and see where we're hurting. How do you find a way to make your lyrics resonate the way that they do? We listen to Mercy Now, and I know that that's got to be something that hurts to talk about. How do you still show love in a way that doesn't seem bitter and condescending? How do you do that? How do you write lyrics in the way that you do that does something that beautiful?
I wish I could answer that. I believe there's divine assistance involved, for one.
Yeah.
I think there's a metaphor that I use when I work with songwriters. I teach songwriting quite a bit these days, and I tell them, look, you're trying to just hang out the window of a fast-moving vehicle with a lightning rod. You're just conducting electricity, and the electricity, I think, is the thread that connects us all. There is something bigger than us that we're made of, and trying to taproot into that, there's a universal to being human, and it has nothing to do with the things of the world. Even really, it doesn't exist even in time, and so I could sing a song I co-wrote with a veteran who served in Iraq or Afghanistan, and I have it resonate with a family that is dealing with the wounds of World War II, or an Italian family who's still grappling with the impact of Mussolini and the divisions in Italy.
Wow.
It just goes through time. And I think that there's a deepness. So what I would say, Joe, is go all the way down. Like, I think a mistake that some writers make is they go down 2 or 3 flights and they think that's cool. When they've got 20 flights, they could go down, but after you get past 4 or 5, it's scary.
Yeah.
Because it becomes genuinely vulnerable to say such things. But that's where the gold mine is. That's where I think the electricity is. It's a terrible thing to have to say, but you need to scare yourself. You have to go, should I say this? Who am I to say this? Or should I say this? Why would I say this? This is going to make me feel very exposed. And I think if artists are unwilling to do that, we've run out of people in our culture who will. We're the last people standing willing to do that. And why do that? Because there's people out there who are hanging by a thread, who, when they hear it, that resonance, it resonates. There's a vibration that happens from music, but there's also a spiritual vibration. That resonance is indication that they feel alone, but they're not alone, that someone else understands. Well, I had the great thrill of doing a couple of tours with Willie Nelson. And one night at the end of a tour, we were standing around at the bar where the hotel we were staying at the grand ending of the tour. And I got to ask him the question, Willie, why do people like the sad songs so much? He said, Mary, I think it's because they figure if it could happen to old Willie, it could happen to anybody. I think there's truth in that. I'm crazy for crying, crazy for trying, I'm crazy for loving you. If Willie can feel that way and he's legend, icon, multimillionaire, then it could happen to anybody. There's almost a relief in knowing that other people suffer the same way I do.
Yeah.
That's fair. Yeah, relatability too, I suppose. Yeah. You got involved in songwriting with soldiers quite early on, and that was several years ago now. I want to say that was probably 2009, maybe that started up.
That's pretty close to the beginning of the program. I don't know how long. I'm not good at time.
I know, but you have touched so many lives, and then during that time, you actually went above and beyond and got involved with veterans on your own time to write an album of your own called Rifles and Rosary Beads, which you co-wrote with military veterans and their families. That album actually got you a lot of recognition for your hard work, including a Grammy nomination. Can you talk to me a little bit about your experiences early on with Songwriting with Soldiers, and how that work impacted you personally? Was it good, bad, the pitfalls for their mental health, your mental health journey? What kind of impacts it has had on your creativity, your music, your career, etc.?
Great question, Stacey. I love talking about this because I went in pretty nervous, not knowing, first of all, if I could write a song in an hour and a half, 2 hours max is all the time you get. Like, it takes me a long time to sort things out in a song. What I didn't realize, it takes a long time to sort my things out in a song. If I'm bearing witness and not entering the conversation as Mary Gauthier, but more as a witness, I could ask questions of someone and help that story to come alive much quicker than the own confusion of my own experience. But my concern was that I couldn't do it fast enough. And my other concern was that I didn't know anything about the military, the experience of my father served in Korea, but the one thing he just never did was talk about it. And so I had no reference for the experience, and I felt that my ignorance was not an asset in any way. And it was scary that I wasn't going to be able to do the job well, and I wanted to do the job well. And what I learned almost within an hour is that doesn't matter. What matters is the willingness and ability to listen in the spirit of non-judgment and just bear witness, and then help to transcribe what I'm told into a melody and a lyric. And I found so many common, as you and I did, so many common bonds between the women and men who've served in their families and myself that I didn't know, I didn't expect. I just thought you all were of a different ilk than, a drug addict, alcoholic, artist, gay person like me. Like, we got nothing in common. And boy, was I wrong. I was absolutely stereotyping. And an interesting thing is that I was afraid of being stereotyped, and I was stereotyping. That was a revelation. That my labeling and sort of categorizing who I thought I was going to go work with was a form of stereotyping, and I didn't even know I was doing that. And that was a revelation, that I need to put down the preconceived ideas and just listen and experience each person as an individual. Nobody's a category. We're all individuals with strengths, weaknesses, and stories. And one of the other answers I love to give for this question that's really important, I think, is that the work that I've done with the veterans and with Songwriting with Soldiers has been deeply connected to purpose for me. Like, maybe I was given this talent to be of service. And this is a way I can be of service that has real life implications. It's not to be, maybe not to be, a star or a hit songwriter or my name on the marquee. Maybe that's not that's not what the gift was about. Maybe the gift was really about taking this ability to transcribe and translate and make song out of human experience. Maybe that gift was an opportunity to be of deeper service in this lifetime to people around me who could really use some help finding the words to what the hell they're feeling. And that connection collided with purpose almost instantaneously with me. And the experience of being in purpose, as we all know, is one of meaning. Without purpose, life is just drags. Meaning comes from purpose, and to apply our skills in a way that's useful, that you can see things impacted by that in a positive way, is one of life's great joys.
Thanks, Mary.
Oh, Mary, what a special energy I feel on this episode, and I think it's in large part from you. It's definitely not from Joe's jokes.
So aggressive.
But I want to be, so I want to hone in on something that you said, and it had to do with layer 3 or 4 of your vulnerability when you can really have level 20, or really going down to the core, essence of your soul, and being able to translate that. And then there's something else that you said, which is kind of the consultant in me, which is it's easier to help other people sort through it than to sort through our own, mess of a journey and experience. And then there's this other theme in my life of, I'm not a songwriter, but I did support helping my brother and co-authoring a book with him that came out in 2017, kind of telling his story of exiting the military and the broken medical system, and then kind of like a way forward, which to your point was, vulnerability of him to share that experience. And then it's like growing in this, space, and it's kind of like maybe the parallels are when you can just be vulnerable and you write and you don't know what's going to happen, and then your record comes out and it's this like incredible hit, but then it's like, what about the sophomore album? How do you follow that up? How do you go back to the vulnerability, to the authenticity, to be able, to find that? And so I would just be interested to hear a little bit more about maybe how you've, navigated that to be able to, because what is it really? It's something about the mindset and giving yourself permission to just do the work and maybe be like detached from the outcome, and then letting that sort itself out. And that's a hard thing for me to do. I feel like in my life at this stage right now is to just stop thinking about it and just do the next phase of the work. It's the next step.
That, I say this every day. The point of the work is the work. I'm not on the results committee. I don't know what the impact, if any, will be from my work. But I do know when a song is not complete, and I have to do more work on it. I have to keep, using the metaphor, taking the elevator. Like this line is here, and the truth is here, and I got to find my way down, and I don't know how to get there. It's like being in a dark cave with a box of matches. You light one, it goes out, and it's dark again. And trying to find that deeper thing that I know is there, but I don't have access, and I'm digging. It's like an archaeologist I'm digging up bones, looking for answers. I don't know what I'm looking for until I find it. I know I'm not there, but I don't know how to get there. And so I have to do the work, and that is the whole point. And being in the work, to me, is both very hard and joyful. Because, again, I know that's what I'm supposed to be doing. I don't know what impact my work is going to have ever. But I do know my integrity, and I do know that when a song is still not there, I have a lot of work to do. And I know when a song is there, it's time to write another one. And I don't really try to think of it in terms of sophomore effort or what's next for the record business. It's more like, what's troubling me today? What's confusing me today? What am I passionate about today? What is making me feel alive today? What matters today? And that's in front of me, and I need to articulate that. And I never know where these songs are. I don't even have any idea where they come from.
I also have such an appreciation for the boldness of artists to be able to go through the process that you just talked about, but then to be able to put that out that's going to live there in a way that people consume it for.
Yeah, it's a catch and release, right? You don't eat the fish, catch, release.
I got a little bit of a quick fun one before push it over to Joe. If you could co-write a song with anyone, who would it be and why?
Oh man.
Maybe that's a hard one. It could be anyone. It doesn't have to be the person you would write it with. Just one.
Dead or alive?
Yeah, you could do dead or alive.
Do
you like to co-write?
Yeah, I do co-write a lot, but I'm very intimidated by my heroes.
Yeah, it's hard.
Oh, I got a great question. Go ahead. Do your thing.
I had a writing date on the books with John Prine, who's one of my songwriting heroes. And I canceled it because I thought I was catching a cold or something. I knew he had been up against a lot of health issues. And I canceled it, and we were going to reschedule it. And 2 weeks later, his wife got COVID. And, a few weeks after that, John passed away. I missed my chance to write. I was catching the cold, but I was also, in all honesty, intimidated by, how do I sit in the room right with, oh my God.
But you would have blamed yourself, though. If you had went through with it, you would have been like, what if I got him sick? And
that too. I would have. He got me. Jamie, my partner, like,
point.
What if you got COVID going right over there?
Yeah.
Back then, there was no. It was a pretty terrifying thing to get it. I don't know. It's a hard question to answer. I would, of course, if I had the confidence, I'd love to write with Bob Dylan or Bruce Springsteen or Leonard Cohen or Johnny Cash or Chris Christopherson or I love the storytellers.
Yeah.
I love the people whose language in their song is as important, if not more important, than the melody. And those are my heroes. And but
Those
I
are the
don't
ones
know.
that last, though. Sunday morning coming down, you got Johnny Cash's version of Hurt, where it's just sung, even though it wasn't his songwriting,
He took
Trent
it.
Reznor was like, that's his. Like
He took
that
it.
song was
He
made for
made
him.
that song his own,
Yeah.
and millions of people heard that song that wouldn't have heard that song if Johnny hadn't have made that video, which I think is one of the greatest music videos of all time.
Absolutely. I got chills all over my whole body right now. It was such a beautiful haunting, just haunting.
Because it was real, and
Yeah.
it hit the universal. Who hadn't been hurt? And if you're lucky, you get old and understand what he even means by that. I mean, his wife was dead 2 months after that video was made.
Yeah.
There is a humanity to it that's just universal.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I'd have the courage to write with my heroes, but if I did, those some of my heroes right there.
Beautiful.
So
Thank you, Mary.
I'm so excited to say all this. Okay. So first of all, when I started looking you up, and I am not far enough into Yellowstone to have heard yet your song pop up. But when I looked it up, I realized a bunch of things about you that are really great. And I wanted you to hear one of the things that popped up as soon as I typed in Mercy Now, which is, what song is that? Who's singing that? Who's the writer? There's 1,000 people who heard that song and immediately jumped on Google and was like, okay, what was that? Who was that? Tell me more. They needed to know more. I would love to hear what it felt like when they reached out to you. I want to hear that success story of being like, you've done these amazing things. And then you get Boy George that covers it on a Rolling Stones live session, which is just bananas. I mean, that Boy George was like, I'm going to do a Rolling Stones live session and I'm going to sing one of Mary's songs. Like, do you know him, or was he just a fan of yours? And sorry, that's sort of two questions, but this was like...
Boy George is a sober guy. He hit a horrible bottom. And ended up, I think he went to jail. I think he had a very bad bottom, and he got sober. And so we share that, and I think another sober friend of his played that song for him, and that's how he found me. And so we have a sort of a social media relationship. We converse on the socials, but I have not met him. As far as Yellowstone goes, I didn't even, that was presented to the woman who handles my publishing before Yellowstone was a hit. Yellowstone hung around a long time before it was a hit.
Yeah.
It caught fire after season 2 or 3, I think, or episode 2. I don't really remember. After episode 2 or 3, it didn't come out of the gate a hit.
Yeah.
And so she just negotiated the fee, and I didn't know that it was going to be the song that played for almost 3 minutes at the end of, I think, episode 2 or 3.
Oh, no, I think it's a season finale.
It's a big one, and it introduced me to a lot of new people, and I didn't.
Oh, Mary, you're so humble. Yeah,
I didn't.
it's kind of like a 3-second blip.
This show that everyone is talking about, you put a pin in it. Like, come on, that's pretty baller.
I didn't. They did. They found, this is the thing with songs.
Yeah.
They were looking for that song, that universal human moment that needed, and the words in the song really mattered, which in film and television they rarely do. They want a vibe, not the words. They got the words. The screenwriters, the people who write the dialogue, they got the words. They just want the music to create a vibe. But in that moment, it was silent. And so the words came in, and they were necessary. I didn't know when I wrote that in 2001 there would be a show called Yellowstone, and 20-something years later...
That's off your debut album, right?
I didn't know. I had no idea. And that's it. You can't know. Back to the thing we were talking about earlier. You just do the work. The point of the work is the work. And at some point, the work will go out and do what it's supposed to do or not, but you can't control it. And you certainly can't control timing. So you just do the work. And I was super happy about that placement. It introduced me to a whole new group of people that would have never found me. And it made my nephew think I'm cool, which is...
Oh, and that's really good. I do a lot of public speaking. The only time I'm ever nervous, I don't care who I'm in front of, the only time I'm ever really, I get a little nervous, but the only time I'm ever like nervous is when I'm speaking to my kids' schools or something. Because I'm like, if I mess this up, there's going to be long-term ramifications for them.
Yeah, this one matters. Yeah.
Yeah, this one matters.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Oh, you're amazing. So Alphas, Mary's got his book. It's called Saved by a Song that you can pick up on her website, Mary Gauthier. And as Joe pointed out, for those of you who are not in the, thank you, Mary. There you go.
That's a nice cover.
It's Mary, GAUTHIER.com.
Is that a
It's
breed
part
love?
memoir, part art, part songwriting, nuts and bolts, but all solid gold. So be sure to get on her site. You can also find her tour schedule. So she may be coming through your neck of the woods. You don't want to miss the opportunity to hear Mary live. I mean, it'll etch your soul. She's incredible. She brings me to tears every time I hear her sing. She's just got one of those life-altering voices. But you can also see her discology there and get her songs and social media channels. You can follow that lady online, stalk her like everybody else does. She's popular. And if you want to be popular too, you'll stalk her.
All the cool
too.
kids like Mary.
All the cool kids like her. Mary,
Yeah, I think.
Just ask her nephew.
I have one more fun question I want to leave you with. What's one lyric that struck you, that has stuck with you, that has really stood the test of time? It could be yours. It could be somebody else's.
Well, recently I've been quoting Bruce Springsteen, The Promised Land. Poor man want to be rich, rich man want to be king. King ain't satisfied till he rules everything. It's that insatiability that explains so much. That I also have to battle, and it's just so concise. The Boss has so many lyrics that are quotable, but that one there, it seems ripe for the times we live in. That, like, why do billionaires need to do whatever that is? It's like, more, please, more.
Yeah.
And oh man, pride always comes before the fall. I think there's a warning in what Bruce is singing, and I need to heed that for myself.
Yeah. Well, before we sign off, was there anything that we didn't necessarily touched on that you thought would be important we should?
Yeah, I didn't get to the word alchemy, and I always love to put that word out there. Why write in such a way that you're down there digging around in the dirt of your humanity? Because it's healing. Because it takes this thing and turns it into something else. It's alchemy. It's alchemizing. It's transformative. You do it to move things forward. You do it to heal. You do it to let go of one understanding and have a larger understanding that has less anger and less shame and less hurt. It's alchemy. That's the point of this, is to transform.
I love that. Let's see your book one more time, Mary. Saved by a Song.
What kind of guitar is that?
That's a 1950 SJ Gibson. And that strap was given to me by B. Spears, who for many, many years played bass with Willie Nelson.
Oh.
He said, you're a star, kid. I'm going to get you a strap. You're a star. And so that's the strap I'm going to use forever.
I love you, Mary.
Love y'all. Thank you for doing this with me. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks for being here.
Thanks.
This is great. Thank you so much for visiting us today. And Alphas, please stick around for some scuttlebutt after the break.
Welcome back, Alphas. We're keeping things short and sweet on the countdown, so there's no scuttlebutt today. But thanks for taking the trip down memory lane with us.
We really hope you guys enjoyed the episode. On behalf of the entire Tango Alpha Lima podcast team, we hope you're enjoying time with your loved ones during the holiday season.
If you miss us during the holidays, which I know you are, you can always subscribe to our podcast, our newsletter, or send us guest and mail recommendations at legion.org/Tango Alpha Lima. So long.
So long.
Bye.